Okay, we back at Isaiah 14 and 13. That's why I went to Genesis 37 to show who the stars of the Most High are. When you read Isaiah 14 and 13, it says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, in their mind, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High." That's the 12 tribes of Israel that we just read. His brethren, which were the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel, our forefathers, they created the 12 tribes of Israel. They the stars of the Most High. We just read in Genesis, the 37th chapter. "I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north," right? So go to 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. 1 Corinthians 3:16. It says, "Know ye not," 1 Corinthians 3:16, "know ye not, Israelites, that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you?" So we are the temple of the Most High, and that's why he's sitting in the mount of the congregation. We the congregation, we the church. You know, it tells you that, and go to Acts 7:38. We the congregation that they sitting amongst and got themselves as the Most High. It says, "This is he," Acts 7:38, prove who the church is. "This is he that was in the wilderness," this is he that was in the church, who was in the wilderness. Who was in the wilderness? The 12 tribes of Israel. "With the angel which spake to them in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us," right? So the church are the children of Israel. So the congregation is the children of Israel, which there's, when it says, Isaiah 14 and 13, "For thou hast said in thine heart and not mine, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which are the children of Israel. I will sit also in the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north," like we here in North America. That's what they're saying. Obadiah 3 and 4. We'll go right after Amos. Obadiah, 21 verses that the Most High gave pertaining to Edom. The Edomites, or the so-called Caucasians. It says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee." This is Obadiah 3. "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock." Where did it come from? Caucasus Mountains. "Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock." And the Most High gave them Mount Seir, Mountain Seir. In the last place of origin was the Caucasus Mountains, between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea in South Georgia, Russia. It says, "The pride of thine heart, pride of your mind hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock." Clear indication. Verse 1, the vision of Obadiah, "Thus say the Most High power concerning Edom." You know, the Edomites will be living in the clefts of the rock. Who? The cave people, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, in his mind, "Who shall bring me down to the ground?" That's what they said. Who gonna bring us down? That's why in 2 Ezra 6 and 9 says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that following. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle." Clear indication. Who is talking about? The bald eagle. This is not the symbol of America. You see it on the post office buses and post office and so forth. "And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Most High." Job 20 and 7. Book of Job 20 and 7. Prophecy. Somebody had to come down for somebody to be set up, right? Job 20 and 7. "Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which saw him, which have seen him, shall say, Where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. Thus say the Most High. Isaiah 14:4. Isaiah 14:4. You say, where is he? I don't know. I haven't seen him. Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have thou oppressors ceased? The golden city ceased. How are they brought down? Say, who will bring me down? Hey, the Most High has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Most High is doing this. What do you say about him? He that smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Ain't nobody helping. Nobody gonna help him this day. Look at how long it's gonna take. Revelations 18. Remember, it's gonna be a great earthquake. Revelation 18 and 10. Standing afar off. Well, let's read verse 9. Go back to verse 9. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and to live deliciously with her, with America, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city America, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. See, 1 hour is going to take on my second side to destroy this place, as it is written. Isaiah 13 and 19. Isaiah 13 and 19. In Babylon, America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellently shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. He burnt them cities down, right? It shall never be inhabited. It ain't gonna never be inhabited. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Nobody gonna live here. Neither shall Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Nobody gonna be here. As it is written. Isaiah 13 and verse 6. How ye, for the day of the Most High is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Destroying, destroying, destroying. Woe, woe, woe. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart or mind shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth it. They're going to be like in pain like a woman that's having a baby, them contractions that she have. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. They're going to be red as ever. It said, behold, the day of the Most High cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the cities thereof out of it. And the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light because of all the destruction that's going to be going on in the world. Nothing but soot and smoke and dust and everything else you could think of. Well, you're not going to be able to see the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine, because you ain't going to be able to see them because of all the destruction that's going to be happening in the air. And I will punish the world for their evil. Hear that? He's going to punish the world for their evil. That's judgment. And the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. That's what he said he's going to do. He said, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. That's building us up. The children of Israel, the men of the 12 tribes of Israel. The gold of Ophir is the best gold. So he's going to make us better than that. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. Hear that? The earth going to remove out of her place. In the wrath of the Most High power of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Better understand. He said, and it shall be as a chase roe, gonna be like a chased deer, like somebody running after deer, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, ain't nobody want to be bothered with them. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So what land we gonna flee into? We don't have no land to flee into. That's why the Most High say he gonna help us. Remember he said he gonna help us? We gotta depend on him, have faith in him. He said, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. They chased around like a deer. He said, everyone that's found shall be killed when we thrust through. And every one of you that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. That's what he's saying. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Like our children was dashed to pieces before our eyes. I showed you in the book. Did you go back and look at this lesson? The book right here. A short account of the destruction of the Indies by Bartolome de las Casas. How they did our children. I'll show it to you again because some of you probably didn't see it, or you just might see this one particular. You see here how he's taking our children and dashing them against a stone. So that happened to us. It happened to us, so it is what it is. I mean, he said, verse 16 of Isaiah 13 chapter, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. The wives going to be raped, and the houses going to be spoiled, and the children going to be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Like our children, you see that picture? We was on gallows. They had us hanging on gallows, barbecuing us, right? While we watched our children one by one be dashed against a stone. He talks about it in that book, how they thought it was funny. Throw the baby over their shoulder and say, made mockery of us. Big time. So, Zechariah 14 and 12. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, will smite or kill all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, fought against the 12 tribes of Israel. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Hear that? Sound like nuclear destruction to me. That's something that we can compare it to. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great turmoil, uproar from the Most High shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall be rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. Hear that? That's why I tell us in Obadiah verse 17. Obadiah verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. To the 12 tribes of Israel is going to be deliverance, going to be salvation. And there shall be holiness. And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Who? Verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus say the Most High power concerning Edom. What did it say? And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. That's why I say the wicked are ransom for the righteous. See, we don't know that because we just following the way of the world, or what they've given us, and don't want to take the time to understand all this that's been given. Even in this lesson, it's a lot. Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel 39. And let's look at verse 6. And I will send a fire on Magog and among them that dwell carelessly in the islands. Magog representing Russia. And they shall know that I am the Most High. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. As he's doing now. We know his name is the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's his name forever, the memorial to all generations. Can't go wrong with that. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. Yah. That's in our name, Yah Sha'ala. He said he ain't gonna allow us to pollute his holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am the Most High, the Holy One of Israel. All the nations outside of the 12 tribes are gonna know that the Most High is the power of Israel, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, it is come, and it is done, said the Most High power. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth, and shall set on fire, and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaffs, and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years. That's all the war ordinances. So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire. That's a lot of weapons they got to burn. We got to burn. 7 years. And they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, said the Most High power. We go on all their possessions. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, and the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers. Gonna be stinking. And there shall they bury Gog in all his multitude. And they shall call it the valley of Hamon Gog. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them. That's a lot of burying. 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Bury them for 7 months, they may cleanse the land. Yeah, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown, the day that I shall be glorified, said the Most High power. Burying bodies for 7 months. Burning their weapons for 7 years. You got to cut down no trees, that's going to be the fire. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bones, then shall he set up a sign by it. You see man's bones, you got to set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. Till they come and bury those bones that they find. Put a sign up by it so you look at it, okay, you got to go get those bones and bury them. And also, the name of the city shall be Hamanah. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And thou son of man, thus said the Most High power, speak unto every feathered fowl, every feathered bird, and to every beast of the field, all the animals that are cannibals, assemble yourselves and come. Gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice. that I do sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Israel, that ye may eat flesh and drink blood, the fowls, buzzards, and beasts of the earth, to eat these dead bodies. Ye shall eat the flesh of the mighty, and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of rams, of lambs, and of goats, of bullocks, all of them, fatlings of Bashan. And ye shall eat fat till ye be full, and drink blood till ye be drunken, O my sacrifice, which I have sacrificed for you, to the birds and the beasts. Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, said the Most High Power. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed in my hand, that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Most High, their power, from that day and forward. Hallelujah. That's right. So we're going to know from that day and forward. Amos, the first chapter. Go to Amos 1. That's going to be a lot of work, right? But it's got to be done. Cleanse the earth, as you say, cleanse the land. Amos 1 and verse 11. Thus said the Most High Power, for 3 transgressions of Edom, represent the indigenous aboriginal Caucasian people, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, that's the capital, Edom cities, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. Thus say the Most High, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, Japanese, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, this judgment, because they have ripped up the women with child in Gilead. Pregnant women, ripped them up, that they might enlarge their border. But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it shall devour the palaces thereof, which shouted in the day of battle, with a tempest in the day of the whirlwind. You know, that come with that whirlwind, you're going to get Ammon too. And their king shall go into captivity, he and his princes together, said the Most High. That's why I say, Revelations 13, 9 and 10. So they go into captivity. Like we were in captivity, they go into captivity too. Revelation 13 and 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Like he just said, because the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Jewish people, Amalek had us in captivity for 18 years. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. You see? So, that's why it's saying they go into captivity. They had us in captivity. Revelations. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. It's a Mashiach Yahushua. Go back a little bit so you might be doing not knowing this. Let's go to verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, righteous power, and he that sat upon it was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness, which we know is Deuteronomy 6:25, the laws of the Most High, the commandments of the Most High, he does judge and make war. So don't think you're going to get out of not keeping the laws and statutes and commandments of the Most High and make it to the kingdom. He say he's going to judge you according to the laws of the Most High. His eyes was a flame of fire because he's angry. And on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. His clothes will be full of blood. And his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen. So they got clothes on. They ain't no butt-naked angels. White and clean. White and clean linen. Angels. I tell you in Revelation 9:16 going to be 200 million. 200,000, which is the army that followed this reader. I'm going to paraphrase it. Revelation 9:16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. That's 200 million angels. So now, Revelation 19:14, and the army, which is 200 million angels, which were in heaven, followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth go up a sharp sword. Keep this in mind. Because remember, he told us in Isaiah 47:3, he's not going to meet them as a man. He said, and out of his mouth go up a sharp sword. This is angelic power. That with this sharp sword, it should smite or kill the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, which is the law of the Most High. When we come in righteousness. And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty Most High. Verse 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Against the Mashiach Yahushua and his 200 million angels that he coming back with. And the beast was taken, and with them the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, all these different religions and so forth, stemming from the Catholic Church, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. He deceived them that received the mark of the beast. All of y'all that's caught up in this world, they do this and y'all doing it. Receive the mark of the beast, being deceived. And them that worship his image. His image. Y'all all about however he looks, however he look at you, that's what matters. And his image, even Caesar Borgia, that so-called white image of Mashiach Yahushua that they lied and put up. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire that burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. He gonna kill the remnant of them. That's what Mashiach Yahushua gonna smite the nations. He gonna kill the nations. And the remnant, the ones that's left, he gonna kill all the army, the navy, the marines, and the air forces of all the nations. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh, just like we just read. You see how it all goes together? Now one more story. One more. Since we dealing with, y'all follow along with the story. Go to 2nd Ezra 13. Right along with the same story. It says, that's what I say, when you look at all these stories being told, the same thing that's being told over and over again. You get a little bit more, just like you go to Matthew, Mark, and Luke, you get a little bit more out of each one as you go to each book. That's how you're going through these precepts. You get a little bit more of how it's going to be. 2nd Ezra 13. Let's start at verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. Ezra was given 204 books. We only have 80 books. So he got 124 more books than the average person have. It says, so he dreamed a dream by night, and lo, Most High given him a vision. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. We know the thousands of heaven, like, see how the story goes together? It's what we read in Revelation 9:16, 200 million angels. Thousands of heaven. That's 200 million angels. Mashiach Shai with the 200 million angels. And when he turned his consciousness to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So he gonna be up here, and they're gonna be under him. Remember we said in Isaiah 47:3, he's not coming as a man, not gonna meet them as a man. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, just him talking. He gonna be burning people up. Like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. They already preparing for this. I remember Reagan was in, he said they have antimatter guns. We're matter, we're flesh. Antimatter, I mean, they have something to prepare to fight spirits. Ain't that something? We gonna see. Let's see what the end result gonna be. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned. Hear that? All they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth, from all four corners of the earth, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. That's the army, the navy, the marines, the air forces of all these nations, these heathen nations that's ruling in this earth today. They're going to be joined together to fight Mashiach Yahushua and the angels. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. Remember, this is a vision that he's having, a dream that he's having. And after this, I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet does fight. Remember, already it says in verse 3, when he turned his consciousness to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him, right? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. We already burning people up, right? Like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. So he burning people up. When he come, he burning people up already. Now the army, now see, he burning people up. They see all these people getting burned up. So now the army, the navy, the marines, and the air force already plan, to be able to sustain themselves against Mashiach Yahushua and his angels. That's what they're planning on doing. They're going to be afraid, but they say, yes, fight. Because why they going to be afraid? Because they already see people being burned up from his mouth. Well, I already coming. I don't know, but you don't know. He said he's going to meet him as a man. His angelic power. Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet does fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword or any instrument of war, because he coming back as a man. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude. That's the army, the navy, the marines, the air force of all nations, which was prepared to fight. And what happened to them? And burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden renewal multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. Ezra said, when I saw this, I was afraid. I was afraid, it scared them. So, understand this. Y'all better get with the program. That's the program of the Most High. But understand. Look. Deuteronomy 7 and 10. Thus say the Most High. And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slackened to him that hateth him. As we just read, he will repay him to his face. That's what the Most High said. Now, you make the call however you want to. Everyone should want to follow what he's laid out for us in these last days. You've heard judgment for everyone, really. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. He said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. What do he say? Fear the Most High. Say, fear the Most High. Be afraid. Be scared of the Most High. If you hear enough of this lesson, it's the conclusion of the Most High. He said, fear the Most High. Be afraid. Be scared of the Most High. And about Shai, for what we just read, what he gonna do? And keep his commandments. Don't listen to these poach-up eating preachers tell you ain't under the law. But this is the whole duty of man. Keep the Most High's commandments, his rules and regulations. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. You see? Because we all gonna meet the judgment seat. Nobody can go for you. You can't say go first. I'm gonna go after you, or let us go together. Nah, that's not gonna work. 2 Corinthians 5 and 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua, because the Most High has given him the power to judge for him, that everyone may receive the things done in this body, while we're in this body, these mortal bodies, according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. Whether it be good, you kept the laws of the Most High, his rules and regulations, or you didn't, and you was evil and bad. Say, knowing therefore the terror of a Mashiach Yahushua. See, that's what I say. We had a testament of a Mashiach Yahushua in a different way that the world does, because they don't know anything about the terror of a Mashiach Yahushua, who's called a destroyer, who went through and killed all the firstborns of males of the Egyptians and so forth, and beasts. Firstborns of the Egyptians and the beasts. That was a Mashiach Yahushua, the destroyer. Tell you that in 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Knowing therefore the terror of a Mashiach, the destroyer, we persuade men. But we are made manifest to the Most High, and I trust also made manifest in your consciousness, the way you think from hearing all this. The change, knowing this. Daniel 7:18. Daniel 7:18. Now that we know the saints are the 12 tribes of Israel, we read Psalms 148:14. Look what it say. But the saints of the Most High, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom. How long? Forever, even forever and ever. That's why when you read 2 Ezra 6 and 9. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, meaning the Edomites have to be ruling during the end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's why it's saying Jacob was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So therefore it says in Daniel 7:18, but the saints who are the 12 tribes of Israel of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. You see? The kingdom we got next forever and ever and ever. Verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. And the saints of the Most High in Psalms 148 and 14 defines the saints as the children of Israel, even of the children of Israel, people near to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. I mean, it's going to last forever and ever and ever. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hear that? All dominions are going to serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. That's all I got to say. And if you like to donate, any donations, you can donate through Cash App and $123 Thawam, THAAHWAM, or PayPal with Shield of Wisdom at yahoo.com. And with that, I'll say Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Krum Abanawa, Most High, Krum Hamashiach Yahushai, and Krum Yashar Allah. And I'm out. Shalom.